have a normal conversation, talk through what happened this year, what you're looking forward to next year, and
Sure.
kind of go from there.
Okay. Tell me, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about your organization.
So our company is called Pull Through Sites, and
Okay.
I started this company probably about a year and a half ago. The idea has been sitting there for about 2 years to really become the voice for the weekend camper. So
Nice.
we have been camping for, over 13 years now. We've kind of worked our way up, tent, fifth wheel,
Yeah.
now we're in a fifth wheel. And
That happens when you get older. You're
oh,
less likely to be in a tent, right?
I know. And people are like, you don't really camp. You more like glamp. I'm like,
Right.
look, it has running water. And, like this is the way I do it. But
Exactly.
the whole premise behind it is to get more people into camping, especially more women like me who run a business or they're high-powered CEOs, whatever. And they're like, I can't do this, that happened to me in 2013. I kind of hit rock bottom and realized I need something. I need an outlet, and camping became that outlet for me.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
that's the premise behind our brand, is just to get more people into camping. Pull Through Sites is the name because we make it easy and fun.
Yeah.
If it's not easy and fun, you're not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was on a podcast the other day and I told a woman, my camper is like your condo in Florida. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, everything is in that thing. And it sits there all year long. When you go to your condo in Florida or you go to your timeshare or whatever, what do you walk in with? She goes, groceries. I go,
there you go.
that's all I walk in there with is groceries.
Yeah. Huh.
I have to keep it maintenance, just like you pay a maintenance fee for your condo.
Right.
I just don't pay
That's interesting because you're already hitting on some of the main points in your first question there.
Yeah.
So
if you could tell me a little bit about you. I know a little bit about just kind of from my research, but tell me about you and your business.
Well, I'm probably a little bit the same way as you are in that I have another full-time career that I've done for, 20 plus years. And, I was just kind of looking for something else. So I'd been looking for a business to buy for a while, and kind of completely unrelated. I took my family to the Grand Canyon. And so we flew out to Phoenix and rented an RV. And went to the Grand Canyon and really had a great time. It turned out to be a great family experience. The kids were probably a little nervous at first, but they ended up having some fantastic memories that it was better than what we hoped.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that I had been looking at the business broker websites for a while. And on that trip, I came across this listing of a business for sale and ended up following through, and little by little ended up purchasing the business from someone else. Mm-hmm. So the previous owner started it in 2011. I bought it about 2.5 years ago. And I've had a steep learning curve. I've always been interested in RVs, but I didn't have a lot of experience. So I had to learn both about RVs and about owning a business. Mm-hmm. So it's been enjoyable. It's been fun. I feel like last year was really my steep learning curve. And this year I feel a little bit more comfortable, I guess. We're starting to get some of our systems processes down.
Good.
So we've grown quite a bit. We've gone from 2 employees with an RV we used as our office to now we have 8 employees and we have an actual building that's our office. And the end of this year, we've expanded into service, and we see that as a big growth area next year. Mm-hmm. And eventually be getting into sales next year as well.
Nice. So how many do you keep the RVs on your lot for rent, or how does that work?
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
everything that we do, we want to have full control of.
Mm-hmm.
So we have considered having some kind of middle ground where we're a kind of a broker or middleman, to other owners,
Mm-hmm.
that they would take care of it, but we would market it. But we haven't taken that step yet. Right now, we want to make sure we put out a quality product so that we have control of all of the cleaning, the maintenance, and everything.
Yeah.
About a third to a half of the fleet typically is owned by the company, and the rest is consigned to other owners. And we found that that's about the right mix for us.
Okay. So
Um,
somebody that take your example, right? Somebody wants to go to Florida. They want to go to Florida for Christmas and they want to kind of
yeah.
just drive around the coast and do all that kind of stuff. They would basically come to you online or whatever, pick out the
Mhm.
model that they wanted. You guys would have it. They fly in,
Yeah.
grab it, and hit the road.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of that, of people flying in and picking it up.
Okay.
And there's some of that, and we could market specifically to that niche, but mostly it's people in the area,
Okay.
that are already living here and would like to either travel around this area or go see relatives. It's pretty common in other parts of the country. Um, so we, of course, we have all the website and the social media. We market to them, and trying to make our presence known.
Right.
And they can pick out which vehicle fits their trip the best online. But we find that overwhelmingly, people want someone to talk to.
Yeah.
They want some handholding
Mhm.
because it's a complicated thing, and a lot of our renters are new to it.
Yep.
Maybe have a little bit of experience, but are not, lifetime owners like you that have done it for years and years.
Hmm.
They want some handholding because there's a lot of trust that's involved.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine reach out to me earlier in the year and she said, we're thinking about renting a camper.
Yeah,
What would you suggest? And I said, step one, are you comfortable pulling it? Are you comfortable driving it?
yeah,
Decide. And
yeah.
she's like, what does that mean? And I was like, okay,
Exactly.
let's go
Yeah.
back.
Okay, we need to go
Let's
back
go
at least.
back. I go, okay, think about this. When
Yeah,
I pull my camper, we are as big as a semi. I
yeah,
said, you probably are going to rent something that is anywhere from 20 to 30 feet long. Do you
hmm,
have a vehicle to do that? And she's like, no. I said, great. So you're probably going to drive one. Now think
yeah,
about this, and so kind of had to like walk her through what it meant
yeah, right,
to, do those kind of things. And she was like, oh my gosh, this makes perfect sense. And
yeah,
then the other question I had for her is, where are you going to go?
yeah,
And she's like, well, we're just thinking like a state park or something. I said, perfect. In Missouri? She goes, yes. I said, great. They all have big sites. They're
yeah,
open. You
yeah,
can pull it, all those kind of things. I said, you're not going to do any boondocking or, just kind of like go out in the middle of a field. And she goes, no. I said, great. You
yeah,
know, but those are do you get similar questions like that? What do people
yeah,
come to you with?
yeah. And the the first question you had kind of covers all this we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So two things. Um, One is trust. They're not familiar with it. They want as much help as you can give them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, a lot of new renters don't know this, that there's kind of probably three different types of rental places. So one is full rental businesses that we are. That's just what we do.
Mm-hmm.
There's some dealers that'll do a few rentals on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are a lot of the RV share outdoorsy type, which, as will run the gamut all the way from our one in Phoenix that was our experience. They just went out of their way to just do everything they could to make us happy. So that's great. And
Yeah.
then the other end of the spectrum, I never use this thing. It's cost me money. I just want to get it out there, I'll pick up a few things, but I'm not really going to clean it. I don't want to spend money on maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a bad experience. So that's probably one thing that new renters don't know. You think it's like the airlines. This airline is like this airline is like this airline. So if I buy a ticket, it's all going to be very similar. It's a commodity.
Right.
But with RV Share and Outdoorsy, you might be able to get a great price, but you really don't know what kind of product you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
So trust, I think, is a big part of it. They're not that familiar with it. They want to know that it's going to be okay because they're putting a lot of money out there.
Well, and I think you brought up a good point earlier when you talked about how you guys take the precautions to clean and do all those kind of things. Nothing
Right.
against the RV Share, the Outdoorsy. I don't know
Right.
them.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have enough research or anything on them. All I know is it seems in my head, and sometimes my logical brain just, runs the gamut, but like, it just seems in my head, if I'm renting from somebody else, I don't quite know
Yeah.
how
Right.
well they cleaned that.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
are there,
There's no set standard.
yeah,
And so it's kind of the Wild West. It could be great. It could be bad. We don't know.
right. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah.
So when somebody comes to you, they really they want peace of mind. They want to
Yeah.
know, look, these guys do it full time. This is their gig. They know how to rent these things out. I'm going to
Right.
get behind the wheel and I'm going to have the education that I need to take my family to the beach and feel safe.
And I wish that's a message that we could get out more effectively.
Yeah.
But, people, we hope they have a good experience when they rent from a private individual because we want them to come back. We want them to stay in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second part of that first question is, I think, simplicity. And this kind of goes back to this and the trust part of it. This was an interesting point that my marketing guy brought up to me. He said, Airbnb, you go to their website, you can rent a big house, which is also a very complicated, purchase that you're doing there, like a RV, complicated. But an Airbnb, you never talk to a single person. All you do is you look at the pictures on the website, you click on the one, you put in your credit card, and boom, that's it. And throughout the whole process, you may never speak to anyone. So the simplicity of it is that they feel comfortable enough with a house that they're willing to do that. They're okay. They don't need as much hand holding. With an RV, it's, I think they're much more nervous about it.
Yeah.
Like your friend, they're not sure what to expect. It's a lot of money they're putting out. This vacation they've been planning on for months. They don't want it to be ruined. So anything that we can do to simplify the process for them, I think helps a lot. And so that starts with, explaining over the phone. Here, let me go through the different types, the different models. We'll help you pick the right one. And then the next step is the orientation, a very thorough orientation for the customer. But what we find in the orientations, for them, it's like drinking through a fire hose. They just nod and smile. Got it? Yep. Move on to the next thing. Yep.
It's so funny you say that because a couple, so I'm very big into personal development, self-development, that kind of thing. And one of the guys that I follow and really like is Jesse Itzler, who is the husband of the woman that invented Spanx. So, and he's a big time himself. I think he sold a jetliner company to Warren Buffett for like $5 billion, so he's big time. But they rented an RV for their family earlier this summer, and I'm following this, and he videoed the guy going through the entire walkthrough and all this, and then a week later you see him going, what did that guy say? I just laughed and I'm like, somebody should have had a notebook.
Right. Well, that's
At the
very
beginning,
proactive that he was willing to video that whole
oh
thing.
yeah, they videoed
So
the whole trip. Yeah.
what we find is it helps everybody. The more knowledge that we can impart on them,
Mm-hmm.
they want to be as knowledgeable as possible so they don't have problems. It saves us a lot of 10 p.m. phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this doesn't work, I don't know how to do it. And of course, when they come back, we want them to have had as good a time as possible. And if they, all the time we see instances where I don't know how this part of it works, and so I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was your generator. You could have been using that this whole time. Well, it's complicated. I didn't want to touch it.
I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to break it.
Right. So, we've tried hard to develop ways to do a thorough orientation and then put that on paper, put it on video, have ways for them to reference it
So you
back.
guys do put it on video.
It's something we've been working on for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a goal of getting it out within the next few months, every single vehicle. It's a very time consuming because every vehicle is different.
Yes.
With different manufacturers, this one, okay, the engine's got to be off, the brake set, and whatever. And then this one is totally different. And so every single one of them, it's worth the time, but it's a big time commitment.
No, I get that. Like I talked to a dealer, I don't know, last weekend, and they are starting to record walkthrough videos before the client comes to do the walkthrough. Here's a video. We've already done all of the mechanics for you so that you can also go back to it. And then I said, well, that's perfect for somebody like me because I want to come with questions.
Right.
And then we can get into the nitty gritty of like, so if
That's
you've got
a great idea to do it beforehand because they don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah. So if you got it out there to set, that you already know what they're renting. Hey, here's a video. Take a look at this before.
Right.
Come with your questions so we can ensure your trip is just like stellar.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
And then anything else we can do to simplify the process for them. Tips and tricks. We've been working on putting itineraries together.
Oh, great.
This might be a good idea for the fall. Here's some places that are within, a day or two's drive, anything like that. Because like your friend, okay, we know we want to go RVing, but we're not really sure where we want to go or what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a great connection for you. When it kind of gets all further set up, one of the things, a gentleman that I know here in St. Louis, he started, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called RV Self Park. And it is specifically for the traveler, not for a camper, but for a traveler. So he is, you can look him up on Instagram. They have one location. One location here it's in West Sullivan. It's about an hour south of St. Louis. It is, I forget how many sites he has. I interviewed him last week, so his video will be up on our YouTube channel as well. But it is specifically for like, hey, you're driving through, like, let's say you're going from New York to Texas and you're coming down, through Missouri or whatever. You rent by the 12 to 24 hour period. Or you can rent, 2-3 days, whatever works. But it is specifically outside of a decent sized city. So you still have access to everything. The idea is not that you're camping. It's that you have a safe place to park while you're passing through. So for his goal is to get these in major cities around the U.S. and he's got franchising that's going on, but also to work with people like you. To buy, to get packages of like certain number of hours. Like say you were to buy 500 hours for your customers. You turn around and you add that to your package and you say, hey, look, when you're traveling through this area, stop here. If you're tired, they will take care of you. We've got your one night stay taken care of for you.
That's neat. And I've seen a few different versions of that popping up lately.
Yes. I think it's a great idea, and it's, it just keeps people
Yeah.
safe and what have you.
It is a
So
good idea, and it's kind of the next iteration past the RV park, I
yes,
think. You
yes.
know, expanding out into more possibilities. So yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
So tell me, we kind of talked about what they come, to you guys with, but what are two things that they should consider before renting?
Um, yeah, I thought about that a little bit. Um, Nothing major really popped out in my mind, but I guess one thing I thought of during this time, obviously, for example, you said, okay, maybe we're going to go to a national park and we're going to go there. Well, one thing they might not consider is that A, is the national park open?
Yeah.
How much of it is open? Sometimes they're partially open. And then the next thing is, what is the waiting list to get in? Because
Hmm.
it may be open, but some of those could be 6 months, 9 months, a year waiting list to get in.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess that would be the first thing, is just, make sure events, food, places to stay, all that, make sure it's open and available.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's a really good point. Another gal that I know, her and her fiance are heading out west. They're going to rent an RV and go
yeah,
kind of into the mountains and all that. And she asked me, she said, what are some things that I need to think about? And I just was like, let me print you out a document, because here's everything that you should think about, but like little things. Like I mentioned to her, like shower shoes. She goes, I never would have thought of shower shoes. I said,
yeah,
you're renting a van that doesn't have a bathroom. You're going to be going to the bathroom and using the showers in
yeah,
some kind of public capacity. Shower
yeah,
shoes,
yeah,
and then I said, you need to make sure wherever you stay, if you can actually have a campfire. There's a lot of
right,
places out west that don't, they have burn ordinances right now, like you
right,
can't burn. I
yeah,
said, and then you need to make sure you have cash if you
yeah,
want to buy wood from somebody where you can't. She goes, I never would have thought of cash. And I'm like,
yeah,
you just get on and start asking people. They'll tell you what you need.
yeah. Another thing, our first experience when our trip to the Grand Canyon is navigating a vehicle of that size through cities. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just pull over to any restaurant and stop. What we had wished that on like Google Maps, those kinds of things, there was an option for large vehicles,
Hmm.
semis, somebody pulling a big trailer, motorhomes, things like that, that would give you different routes
Yeah.
based on the size of your vehicle. And I think there is an option on some of them for height requirement.
Hmm.
You can raise the height requirement for some roads and it will route you around um, other, low bridges and things like that. But
Yeah.
there's no real option for large vehicles. So navigating around cities can be pretty complicated, and that might be something that the new renter wouldn't think about.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know here in St. Louis, we have an RV show that is like literally downtown heart of St. Louis, every year.
Which is the
And
worst place, right?
it's the
It's the
worst
worst.
place. And so last year, we helped a dealer friend of ours, actually in February of this year, but seems like it's been 3 years ago. But we helped a dealer friend haul campers back to his lot. And I'm like sitting like this going, are we going to make this turn? Like, are people going to realize they have to get out of the way? We have to swing,
Yeah.
and it's just,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Like, you can't just take a rig downtown.
Yeah. We wish we could, get a note into Google or Siri or something and say, please, can you make some options on your mapping apps for large
Right.
vehicles? Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So what did you guys experience this year? Did you see a huge boom? It's your second year of business.
Oh man. Yeah, absolutely. And it really caught us by surprise.
Yeah.
When it first happened, we had so many events. We typically have our events in the spring here in Florida, and we had so many events that we had already booked that all canceled. So we
Mm.
lost just amazing amounts of business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and all of our other vacation cancellation, just everybody canceled their vacations. And
Right.
so there was about a 2 week period where we were scared, so we had to, like, okay, let's change the business model. Let's look at the new reality. Let's just start calling every hospital and emergency management and everything we can to try to reinvent this business, because there's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be any events or vacation rentals.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's probably about a 2 week period of that. And then all of a sudden, just boom, this within like another 2 week period, we were just absolutely flooded
Yeah.
phone calls of people that maybe had already had summer vacation plans, that
Uh,
now the place where they're going was no longer open,
right.
or their event was canceled, or they don't want to fly on the airlines, they don't want
Mhm.
to stay in hotel rooms.
Right.
And we just got bombarded with people, and it it kind of came back and bit us, because we had already offered some really deep discounts for
Ah,
the summer to try to get any business we could.
yeah.
And we ended up just booking at these discounts right away, and then not having inventory for the rest of the summer.
Yeah.
So
You live and learn
um,
though.
yeah, so I mean, it was good. It's still a good thing. We were at one point, we were sold out for about 2 to 3 months.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah.
So we could have Monday morning quarterbacking it. We could have,
Mhm.
done it with less discounts. We could have. We did try to get more vehicles, and there was just everybody was trying to get a hold of vehicles, so
Right. Yeah.
there was nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to look up. I was looking down at my phone because I wanted to see some part of the RV Women's Association. And we're
Hmm.
doing this huge, they call it a jamboree,
Okay.
but like huge get together, really, in
Yeah.
Florida in May.
Okay.
And I was just trying to see where it was to see how close we were because, like, I'm not sure that I will pull my rig down there, but if
Mm-hmm.
I could drive, pick up a rig from you and then take it
Sure.
over to camp. So
Yeah.
it's between the RV Women's Association and an outfit called Girl Camper, which is all
Okay.
about women camping
Cool.
on their own and things like that. So we're all coming together. We're bringing
Oh,
the
cool.
manufacturers, the dealers, we're bringing all that to the camper, which has never been done.
Yeah.
So we're
Great.
kind of doing all that. And so I will find out where it's at, find out how close you are,
Okay.
because that
Yeah.
might be a good connection as well to just be like, hey, if I think they're holding 30 spots open for industry people
Okay.
to bring campers in.
Yeah.
If you guys can pull in 4 or 5 campers and they're already there and you slap your sticker on the front,
Yeah.
why not?
That would be cool.
That would
Yeah.
be cool. So let me look that up when we're out of here, when we're
Okay.
done. So what are you guys planning for next year?
So we're trying to increase the number of vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking into, as I brought up before, kind of the third option of, we have vehicles that we own. We have consigned owners that are on our lot that we control the vehicle, take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're looking at the possibility of something else that we have access to vehicles. The owner would be responsible for it, and they can say, either yes or no. We offer them, okay, I've got a renter set up for this time frame. Would you like to use your vehicle for that? And then, we would work out some kind of agreement between them.
Okay.
So that would give us a little bit more flexibility in times of lots of demand. We'd have more vehicles available. And then other times, like January, February is typically a slower time. We don't have to have as much inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one possibility for this coming year. in the spring and summer, we're probably going to do little or no discounting. And so that's something that people should know ahead of time is if you want to book for spring or summer, you're going to need to do it early.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't tell you last year how many people we turned down. Just like every day. We sometimes 15, 20 people a day saying, I'm sorry, we don't have vehicles. We're all sold out. So that's something that people need to know is if you want in those high demand times, book early.
Yeah, for sure. Especially
Yeah.
in Florida in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's going to be going.
Yep, that's right. So
I don't know political climate, but I don't think things are going to really, I know Florida is a bit different with their rules and things like that, but I
they're
think
a little more lax, less strict. Yeah.
Which is probably why people are flooding there, which is again, why you should book early.
That's exactly right. Every time, New York or wherever, every time they tighten down, people come down to Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing? Because you guys do some RV repair too. So are you just kind of wide open and you do whatever or?
Yeah. So like I said, that's something we started a few months ago and it's going to be probably a big growth area for us this next year. We're started at our location and we're adding more bays and more technicians as we grow that. We started the mobile side of that now.
Nice.
We have a service vehicle that we've equipped and we're sending techs out. And that will be some road calls, where I need to be fixed now. I need somebody here now. And some of it will be out to storage lots and RV parks for more preventative maintenance type stuff. But yeah, I think that will be a big growth area for us this year.
That mobile repair is huge. Like we had a guy come out to the house to fix one of our slides.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have to haul this anywhere. He's coming to my home.
Yeah.
This is key, especially if you're traveling and whatever else.
We've seen people that, we'll talk to them over the phone and we can explain it to them. It's very simple. All you need to do, get under your sink and turn this valve. No, I don't want to do it. Send somebody out. Well, there's a service charge for that. I don't care. Send somebody out.
Here's my credit card.
Yep. So, again, back to making it simple. People, they do the RV lifestyle because they want to relax, get away from work, and just enjoy it.
Yep.
Make it simple. So, anything we can do to help service that, great. There's a need for that.
Yep. And I think you're really smart and you have both options. If you have somebody like, for instance, maybe my husband who's like, just tell him what valve to turn, he'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Then you have the other people on the other end that are like, I don't want to touch this thing.
Right.
Here's my service fee. Here's the whatever else. Just here's my credit card. You've got it on file already. Run it.
Yep.
Come out here and make sure that I can keep going on my trip.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's awesome. So what are any other tips or ideas for renters or anybody else looking to head to Florida?
Let's see. One thing that I would recommend, I think people are a little bit hesitant to do it because they want to feel like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm good. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and take just a short little driving lesson. If you're new to it, we're happy to jump in with you, just go around the block, whatever, it just takes 15 minutes. And I think that's a confidence builder. People say, it's scary, but I'm going to do it. Don't worry. I don't need the lesson. I'll figure it out. And then they get in and they, head out of the lot and they're like, oh boy, what do I do now? This thing is huge,
Or like me, I'd hit the first curb and be like, I guess I should have took that driving lesson. That was a curb.
Yeah, right. So that's something I would recommend. It's no big deal. It's good for you. It's good for us because we see vehicles come back with damage all the time, whether inside or outside. It's just amazing how common damages.
Yeah.
to the units.
And kudos
So,
for you for sticking with that. Cause I know a lot of dealers here locally, like a lot of them don't rent because they're like, it's too much
yeah.
liability with the damage.
Well, and that's interesting because that was one of the main reasons we got into the service business
Mm,
is that I was shocked, frankly, after I bought the business and started learning it, how
hmm.
much maintenance and repair it takes.
Yeah.
I was amazed. And so we're doing all this repair anyway. And so like, what the heck? We're already, in the business of doing it. We just as well charge people. So
Yeah.
that became what was, I guess, a cost center for us,
Hmm.
keeping our fleet repaired
Yep.
into a profit center.
Yeah.
So that
That,
was, it was shocking. These things take a lot of maintenance.
they
So,
do. And if you don't maintain them, like,
yeah.
and we know some campers, they have full on monthly checklists and
Yeah.
they rain or shine, they're out there monthly
Yeah. That's
maintaining
good.
their rigs. So,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Craig, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. You bet,
Where
Jessica.
can people find you online? You have the website, you're on Instagram. Is there anywhere else they can find you to get more information about coming to Florida and renting an RV?
We'll try doing our best. And this year we're going to be doing way more marketing than we did last year. But yeah, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and of course we have both midfloridarvrentals.com and
Mhm.
midfloridarvservices.com.
Perfect.
So yeah, yeah, and
Awesome.
feel free to call. We'll be happy to walk you through whatever questions you have. So
Perfect. So if you're headed to Florida and you need some RV service, you can
yeah,
give them a call. They now have mobile. And if you're headed to Florida for vacation and you
yeah,
want an RV, give them a call. They'll,
yeah,
but
yeah.
call them early because
That's right.
everybody's going to be renting next year.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely.
Craig,
So,
thank you so
and,
much.
yeah, and good luck with
For
your business.
yes, thank you for doing this. I hope you have a wonderful holiday,
You too. Yeah.
and we'll catch up soon.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.